Everyone, and welcome to Married with Football. I'm your host, James. This is my co-host,
Jessica.
and we welcome you guys to Married with Football. We are here today because my wife asked me a question about what is a fullback. Well, what brought that question up, Jessica?
I was listening to a podcast, and the speaker, his name's Alex Hormozi, and if you guys are at all interested in business, you should pop onto his channel and learn everything about business. But anyway, I was listening to his podcast, and he was talking about marriage, and he was comparing a spouse to either being a fullback or a cheerleader. And I was just kind of like, okay, yeah, I totally understand what a cheerleader is. She's on the sidelines and she's cheering for them, and she supports that way. Like I understand the role of cheerleader, but I didn't get what a fullback was, and so I sent the podcast to James, and I came back home and I was like, hey, Hormozi's, comparing a spouse to a cheerleader and a fullback, and I'm thinking that maybe the fullback helps the quarterback, but I don't know how.
So we have a very important question there. I'll just abbreviate here, does the fullback help the quarterback? Why do you think it has to be a quarterback that the fullback helps?
Because the quarterback is like the most important player of the game that everybody talks about. So like if you're talking about marriage and you want to like talk about spouses, you're talking about the key player in the team, which would be the QB.
Very good.
So that's why I figured.
You're not wrong. Fullback is a guy of many talents and many trades. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to illustrate what a fullback is for my wife. So we're going to start with the basics of football. You've got a line of scrimmage, maybe.
You have to click on it, maybe at the bottom there.
Line of scrimmage, and then you have 5 burly dudes here. Then you have your quarterback, and then you have a running back, or a fullback, I'm sorry. So here's where your fullback is. This is a running back. This is a quarterback. We'll call this center, right guard, right tackle. Not that any of this really matters. Left guard, left tackle. So then your fullback is right here, the position that we're concerned with today. So the question was, what is a fullback? Well, there's really no good way to describe them they are in a part of the back field, which is the back part of the field here. So we understand that they're in the back field, but the best way to describe a fullback would be to describe what he does. So on defense, you have these 4 big burly guys here called defensive linemen. So this is your line of scrimmage. And then you've got, 3 or 4 burly guys back here that are linebackers.
Linemen and linebackers.
Yep, these are linemen up here. Yeah, linemen. These are sub-line men. Sub-line men. So your fullback, we'll pick a different color here because it's fun. So here's our guy we're talking about. What is this guy doing? Well, there's an exchange point where this is going to exchange the football. It's going to go, the football's right here. It's going to go to the center, and the center is going to give it to the quarterback. The quarterback's going to, in this exercise, bring it over here for a running back running an outside the tackle zone scheme.
Time out. When the center passes to the quarterback, it's called a
snap.
Okay.
Very good. Nice. Yes. Well done.
I'm learning things.
She's learning things. Snap. So in this exercise, this takes time, this exercise from the center to the quarterback. So then, as this is taking time through here, this guy is making his way over here. As you see, in a similar trajectory as our running back, he's going to run in the same way because one of these big guys over here in red, because red is bad, one of these red guys are going to come down here, or a safety is going to come down here, or one of these corners over here are going to slip loose. Well, this guy's job is to come over here, and whichever one of these unlucky guys or 2 guys made it to here, it is his job to chip one of them and block the other. So he will like throw a left shoulder into one as he's running
Okay.
through, and then he will run his full body into the other and push them out. So he's bumps
Okay.
this guy, pushes this guy out. What he wants to do is get this running back to run right behind him. So he gets the ball here. He's out ahead. The time it takes for this to happen, he's hitting this dude. The running back's right behind him. He collides this dude. The running back goes right behind him and to the moon.
Okay. Got
He's
it. So
he's running out here to the end zone up here.
in the most ideal place. Okay.
In the most ideal place. Yep, running back gets the ball. He's running outside. This is all blocked up nice and tidy.
Can we time out for a moment?
Yeah, of course.
The fullback doesn't touch the ball. Like he just hangs out
So
and like
very rarely
chips and blocks people.
So I don't know the
How is
exact
he
stat.
so important though?
I don't know the exact stat.
Okay.
Well, the reason is he does all this dirty work. He goes ahead of the fullback, the running back. In our scheme, like this could be a fake, right? Let's just clear up here. So we'll simply just take out like purple, specifically for us. So we've got Lamar here as our QB.
Go Ravens, purple.
So you're going to see a scheme deployed something like this probably at least once. This is just a generic I-form back. This is your fullback, and this is our running back. So this is Derrick Henry. For those of you who don't know, I'm in love with King Henry, and never mind. And this is Project Pat. You remember those big nasty guys that I said played over here?
Yes. On the offensive?
The defensive line.
Okay, those guys.
This D-line. Well, this used to be Pat Ricard. Pat Ricard is a running back. I would love to know just his exact stats. Like, as I'm talking about this is exciting stuff for me. Forgive my nerdiness. Patrick Ricard. I'm just curious of his size.
You're saying he's a running back, but he's playing as a fullback with the Ravens. Okay.
So he's 6'3". This is why this matters. This dude is 6'3", 311 pounds, running back.
Playing as a fullback.
So this dude is all of this, and he gets to go do and absolutely ruin somebody's day right here. Because he's a monster, and he belongs right here according to his height and weight. But we have transferred him into a fullback. So in our offense, Project Pat rarely touches the ball, but he is an absolute critical piece of our offense.
Okay.
Probably the most underrated piece of our offense will always be Project Pat.
Is that, in general, the most underrated piece of your offense? Is it usually the fullback?
In an offense like Kyle Shanahan's, where they run Kyle Juszczyk. Kyle Juszczyk spent his first 4 years in Baltimore, was a Baltimore homer. He made his way out to San Francisco. They paid him like a running back when he was just a fullback, and they use him a lot different than anybody else does. The 49ers will throw the ball to Kyle Juszczyk probably 30 times this year. He's going to probably touch the ball 40, 50 times. It's very rare for fullbacks to touch the ball that many times. With the exception of 49ers, you've got nobody else. So the other conception was the cheerleader. Thank you for keeping me on track. We'll use blue for them, I guess. So we've got the outskirts of the field. We were talking about the comparison of the fullback, the guy that we love so much, and his comparison to a cheerleader, which is not knowing how to spell helps.
We got it.
We figured it out. Well, my biggest difference for Hormozi in my life for what a cheerleader is she is on the outside of this line, whereas your fullback is inside this line here of what is part of the game and part of the team. So she is an outside looker in, right? She's an outside perspective, taking care of the house. She's taking care of the kids. She's taking care of the bills. But dad is out working, doing his dream, chasing his dream, whether that be a corporate ladder, whatever that looks like, while mom is playing the role of housewife and mom and supporting him in that role.
Yeah, like cheerleaders, like I'm going to not do anything in your arena.
Yep.
This is my arena here, and I'm going to support you and help you so that you can focus in your arena. So she takes away all the distractions so that you can focus in your game.
So for us, it's a little weird.
Or she doesn't take away the distractions. She gets other, you know how in football they get the other team to start making noise.
That's right. So you have your cheerleader out here, right? Yeah. And then we'll have your fullback in here.
There too.
Yeah. Oh, very good. Fullback's in here between the game. These be another cheerleader, and I think that drawing it like this is kind of fun. I missed the letter, but we'll figure it out. So inside of the game being played, like this is, I would call it the husband's game, right? Like would you align with what Hormozi was saying? Like he was saying, like this in between these lines is the husband's game, right? Like whatever the husband's passionate about and loves is inside of here. Whereas you would come
it's all depending on like where they're coming from, their entrepreneurial spirit, of their driven. Like this is his game. Like this is where he's at.
So I think just in these three colors, I want to draw a little just depiction of what I think and like what's unique for us is that inside of all of this, purple is my favorite color. Inside of all this, you have a little bit of both of these people in you, right? So for us trying to differentiate fullbacks from quarterbacks, like, so we have a few things going on in our life. I didn't leave a ton of room, but we'll play the analogy and see the colors here. So in our life, we have Married with Football that fully falls into this, like you are in this category 100% my fullback here.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. We get to have these moments, and that's what this is for. And then we have moments where, like, my wife is a personal instructor. She's been teaching Pilates for 15 years. Ezra Movement is her and her thing. So having that thing, so we have Ezra Movement, and what is a part of Ezra Movement right now is she has school games going on. If you guys don't know, that's another Hormozi shout out. I'll write it right there. SKOOL. School games. This is Alex Hormozi's kind of get. But she's playing the school games inside of Ezra Movement, along with doing other things. You know, she still works as a Pilates instructor on a regular schedule. So trying to do all of these things, you know, in this category, she's certainly into a cheerleader category, but she's also a wife, and she's a darn good one. So in this is like, I'll call this God's plan, right? Oh, that erases. That's cool. If I click this, it'll like, oh, maybe not. It did once. We're learning together, and we're having a good time. Shout out Dusty Slay.
Dusty Slay.
So being a wife, I think it falls into this, right? Like it falls into like this blend of other cheerleader. It's like you're not doing your own thing and supporting me. Like you're literally like we both need to be here. And I think this line over here is special for us because as we start to work on Married with Football, and you know I've got my own thing, you know, with Zenzio, and shout out Zenzio, and you know that pulls me over here. So as we look at life, and we're like, we've got one Jessica over here, we got a James and Jessica here. I think this is balance, right? Like I think we have our thing that we do together. Mm-hmm. I think you have your thing that you do independently, and then this is both of us in marriage, right? This is us taking on our godly supported roles. This is us, you know, my wife talks a lot about Proverbs 31 woman and what that means to her.
So our married life together is cheerleader and not like quarterback fullback?
So I don't like the quarterback fullback reference here. Like I think marriage falls into a different category, right? Like in and of itself. Like this, I guess this would fall, Zenzio would fall into me over here. So this is a James for me and Zenzio. That Zenzio would definitely fall me onto this side. And then this would be like my husband portion of this.
Okay, so in which case, I would still suggest that this would be quarterback fullback on the marriage side, because we're still working towards the same goals and we're playing the same game. Like we always talk about how you and I are on the same team.
Well,
oh, our little squiggly squigs.
Okay. Well, we wanted to make a point here.
But yeah, so I was just trying to that we
The
have
point
our
was this
things
is
that
Fullback.
we work on our stuff independently. He's got his AI stuff that he works on, and I work on my Pilates and online community. But together we're working on this married with football, and together we work on our marriage and our walk with the Lord. And so I would still posit that marriage is kind of like a quarterback fullback thing, except less violent. No one's taking punches. It's all about working together. And
Yeah, so in yellow, that's us things. The green is a you thing, and then the blue is a me thing. But what I do really see here in all of this is I do see good and healthy balance in this. We have our own things. Hormozi's all in. And I do think that there might come a point in time. Let's say by the end of this NFL season, we have 20,000 subscribers on YouTube and we've monetized and we start to do good things there and we've turned it into the school games. And then what, right? We have to start knocking things out, right?
Distractions, yeah.
Distractions, so what gets knocked out? Does marriage
Definitely
get knocked out, or
knocked out.
does Zenzio or does Ezra movement get knocked out, right?
Yeah.
And then if this is a full on tank, and then what? Do I come into Ezra movement? But it's not having the answers, right? I don't
there is no answer.
I don't think having the answers is the point. I think trying to be balanced is healthy.
Yeah.
And I think having a backup plan and being able to say hey, this is my girl. I want to be there for her. That's where we're at.
Yeah.
So subscribe. You got something of value here. We appreciate you. Any last words, Jessica?
No, this is just the perfect example of marriage and football. It was just complete happenstance that I was listening to this podcast and he made a football reference, and I was like, this would be something that we can talk about because I don't know what a fullback is. So.
Very good.
This was fun. Thanks, guys, for tuning in and listening to us chit chat and just figure out what a fullback is. Fullback is in the game and annihilates people so that the running back or the QB can get somewhere. And then a cheerleader is somebody on the sidelines cheering them on, not playing the game. And in marriage, you might wear two hats. There is no proper specific way for it to work. And I think even Hormozi in the podcast kind of said that whatever works for you, whatever floats your boat, these were just facts and figures that he was spitting out. And then also one fun fact or figure he spat out too is that when couples make money together, so should this
let's make some money together.
The first dot, so when the moment a couple makes money together, they are 5 times more likely to stay committed and stay together. Because that effort, that rush of we just did something is kind of oh, hey, maybe we haven't made a baby yet, but it's something like that, something we did this together and it was so rewarding and so fulfilling. And so that was really the other thing I was thinking about too, with doing something together and having the outcome together. So really working on this married with children, I'm sorry, that's literally it's where it came from. It was part of her Insta, love and marriage, but it was married with football. That's how this came to be. It's just how can we work on something together, and who knows, maybe we'll make some money off of this. If anything, we're definitely going to be teaching a lot of you people about football because I don't know anything about it. Well, I'm starting to learn stuff about it.
Man, I'm gonna have to learn how to spell before next time we go live. We love you guys. Thank you so much. If there's anything we can do for you, please comment below. Talk to you guys all very, very soon. Bye now.